Hi, welcome to Just Imagine with Christopher. With the holiday season now approaching, it's a great time for families to get together to celebrate the joy and happiness of giving and the wonderful time that we all can spend together. I'm here today in a wonderful store called Christopher's. It's a great and magical place if you believe magical things can happen. We're going to show you today how to make a gingerbread house. We have some great craft projects that even the kids can get involved in. So if you believe, magical things may happen. So sit back and enjoy, and I hope you'll get some creative ideas from our show.
We are back again, our Coffee Joshua.
A program of the Lord's Place located in downtown West Palm Beach. We're a reservations-only restaurant for the homeless, and we're here today with Christopher.
And as promised, we're going to make gingerbread cookies. So what are we going to do first?
First, we're going to roll the dough and cut out the cookies, and then we bake them off.
So here we are. Chef's going to show us how to make the dough for these gingerbread cookies.
This is a very simple dough which you can do at home without having a mixer or a Cuisinart or any you can do it by hand. We're going to make this dough by hand. The recipe will be available at
we'll
your
have it
store.
available at our store.
So
Sure.
those are our dry ingredients, which we're going to mix first thoroughly. Then in the second bowl, we're going to have the wet ingredients. 1.25 cups of dark molasses. That gives the taste and the color of the gingerbread. Then we're going to add 1 cup of sugar and 2 eggs lightly beaten up. And 1/2 cup of melted margarine. I use margarine, but you can use Crisco. I wouldn't use any butter.
Okay.
Just vegetable shortening. Make sure after you melt it that's cooled down a little bit, otherwise you're going to make scrambled eggs. You got eggs in here.
Okay.
So we're going to mix it up. It doesn't have to come all together, but just make sure it's all mixed. Then we're going with the same utensil in here and make a little well in the middle.
Okay.
And then we pour the wet ingredients into the dry, not vice versa.
Okay.
And then we're just going to mix it down and over like that. And sooner or later it's going to come together. It's going to form a dough. That's approximately the consistency. If it's too soft, don't worry, you can add a little more flour to it. Again, put some flour down.
To keep it from sticking.
Yeah.
Put in the flour.
Because if you do want to work it a little bit by hand, and it's probably a little warm and a little soft from the melted.
Oh, the melted butter.
From the melted margarine
Yeah,
or
okay.
shortening. So all you want to do is just work it a little bit more.
Now you added more flour to make it a little bit more firm.
Yeah,
So it's not
and
so,
also it doesn't stick
okay,
too much.
Okay.
Then all the excessive flour, whatever you have on the table, you can work into it.
Okay.
It's very simple. Cut it in half. Take some saran wrap. Wrap it very loosely. And spread it out a little bit. It's going to be easier to roll than when you have a ball like that.
Right.
And you just go like that, over, and over. Take a little sheet pan. put in the refrigerator.
Thank you.
So after the dough has cooled down a little bit, Put a little flour, all-purpose flour on your work surface. And don't be scared if it's all look white. It eventually work all into the dough, and we're going to roll it out. If it breaks, it's no big deal. Comes back together.
So we should tell them how thick do you
About
roll that?
a half an inch.
Okay.
Then we want to talk a little bit about the form. Christopher, you made out.
Well, I called Chef and I wanted to know how to make a form. I couldn't find anything to actually make this size. So he instructed me over the phone that I could actually make one out of poster paper, or actually cardboard. So I took regular poster paper that I got at the craft store and I traced around my form here, and then I just took regular florist wire and then I used packing tape. And then I taped it and I shaped it around the body to make the form. So that's what we have here. And you can actually do this at home. You can also use a pie tin if you want to use something a little smaller, and we have a sample of that too.
Yep.
Okay, we took a regular pie tin, and I've already kind of cut it here, and then you just want to take the ends and you want to flatten this out as flat as you can get it. Now you can roll it with a rolling pin to get it flatter. And then I took it and I just kind of cut it so it will notch together, and I shaped a heart because that's going to be in the center here, because I couldn't find a cookie cutter that was small enough to do that. Now if you are a cook, you probably can just freehandly cut this, but because I was a little nervous, I thought, no, I want to have it pre-done. And then I just took and put some masking tape over to tape it. And so these were some easy steps that Chef kind of explained to me on the phone, and then with a little creative idea, I made my own.
So very gingerly, we gotta take that dough up.
You're fired. Now, when it breaks apart, that's not a problem.
Deal, no.
Okay.
It's just from the shortening. We lay it on parchment paper, and you can spray some vegetable oil underneath to keep your parchment paper in place.
And the parchment paper, you can buy that at the grocery store?
Grocery store.
And it comes this wide for a tray this size?
No, at home you probably have smaller trays. So you have like a cookie sheet.
Okay.
Here it's more commercial.
Okay.
All right. Then we're going to set that on. And I just take a sharp knife and go around it.
So actually you don't have to push this down in to cut it. You just can cut it out with a knife.
Yeah, you just leave the form on it. Then you know. Then we make sure we're all the way in. And first we're going to remove the excess dough.
Voila.
See if my invention works. So, and do I just push this down, or do I have to cut
Yeah.
it around? Just kind of push it. Oh,
Very good.
Neat. Okay. And then when how do you
I would
just,
take it
you just
out
stab
now.
that out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just take
It really
stab the
does
heart
work.
sharp knife, you see, your heart comes right out.
That is great.
Then you can,
I can make a
We can make a little heart cookie.
Yeah.
Okay.
if you have excess flour on your gingerbread man, just take like a brush and brush it off. So we're going to put it in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes.
And what temperature?
350.
350.
350. After they come out of the oven baked, just let them cool off a little bit till they're not too hot to handle. Then very careful, take them off.
Smell delicious.
Those are the smaller ones. They're still warm, so we want to make sure they cool off.
So Christopher, I think Chef Arnold's going to teach us how to decorate these cookies we just made.
So is that why all that candy's out here? I
That's
thought maybe
all.
we could eat this.
Yeah, eventually you can.
Okay.
We have here royal icing, that's called. That recipe is available at your store. I want to
I'll
show
eat
you
more than
first
I
how you can do it at home for the children. We're gonna,
So you're just using a Ziploc bag?
Ziploc bag.
That looks good.
And it's not so a big mess for the kids. Just take it like that. And we cut off a little tip. We're gonna give the little man maybe a few buttons here.
So what we're doing is we're just taking the frosting now and making a design on the cookie. You can also use this frosting to hold pieces of candy, right? That's what you're doing.
Yeah. Can use those gummy drops here. Just cut them right in half and use them as decoration. Here you really can use your imagination, also get the children involved in that. And remember, they don't have to look perfect.
Yeah, because believe you me, mine doesn't.
Mine does. Chris, we'd like to thank you today for coming here to Cafe Joshua and baking with us.
And I thank you for having me.
It was a lot of fun.
And I've learned a lot again from you.
Great. Come see us again.
We'll
hopefully
do that.
soon.
What's the next holiday?
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Everybody loves chocolate.
Yeah. And I guess we want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Yes,
and
happy holidays to all. Here we are back home after a great visit today at Cafe Joshua. Chef Arnold showed us some great ways on how to make gingerbread cookies. So we're here in a much cozier setting with my son Michael, his two friends Craig and Blake, and they're going to show you how they would decorate the gingerbread cookies. So why don't you guys start and show everybody how to do this. How are you going to spend Christmas, Craig?
Probably gonna go to my dad's, and then the day after that, probably go to my mom's.
And Blake, how do you spend Christmas?
I just go to my grandma's and spend the time with my family that I don't get to see that often.
Oh, that's good. Now, have you guys ever made gingerbread cookies before?
Yes.
You ever decorated them?
Not me.
You've never have? If you're wondering what kind of candies to use when decorating the gingerbread cookies, or men, you can use little mini M&Ms that they make. They're great for the eyes, or buttons going down the bodies. You can also use the jujubes. Those are great to cut up. You can even use ribbon candy. That looks really good. Those look really good, you guys. But there's just something missing, don't you think?
Yeah.
What's missing? I just can't think of it. Well, let's concentrate really hard, and maybe it will come to us. Hey, look at you guys! It's Mrs. Santa Claus.
I know exactly what's missing. Every gingerbread boy that I know of lives in a gingerbread house.
So can you show us how to make a gingerbread house?
I sure can.
Oh, that would be great. So Mrs. Santa, you're going to show us how to make one of these gingerbread houses?
I sure am.
I can't wait.
Okay.
So how are we going to start?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to start out with a form. And if you come into Christopher's, you can get the directions. And you cut the form out, and you fold it accordingly.
So this is just poster paper?
This is just poster paper.
Okay.
You fold it accordingly and tape it or glue it, whichever way you want. Put your little sides on. You start with 3.5 graham crackers.
Oh, well, that's a great idea.
Yeah. And you put the graham crackers around the form, and you end up with this.
Okay. Well, that's
Okay.
pretty cool. So this is the one we're going to make then, this one right here.
That's the one we're going to make.
Okay.
Okay, that's the one you're going to make.
Okay. I'll do this
And
one.
I get to do the big one. I'm
Okay.
bigger than you.
That's okay. I'd rather start with something small in case it doesn't work out right. Okay, so I just take this thing and just squeeze
Just
it and just
squeeze
do a
the end.
design. Okay.
What I'm going to do is I have a bowl of frosting, and I'm going to frosting the roof.
So you're going to make it look like snow?
I'm going to make it look like snow. You know, up in the North Pole, we have lots of snow.
Now, were you telling me that this is a family tradition?
This is a family tradition, and we've done it for about 20 years now.
So after you put the frosting on like I'm doing, how long does it take for this to dry?
Well, it doesn't take long for it to set up,
Okay.
a minute or so.
And then can you eat these, or is this really just for decoration?
No, you can eat these.
I mean, would you recommend eating it like right away, or how long could one use this on display?
Well, I wouldn't recommend it setting for any considerable length of time. I'd eat it within a day or two.
Okay. So to apply each one of these, we just put a little dab of frosting on the back to hold it in?
A little dab of frosting.
Okay. Well, I think this is a really good idea using the graham crackers, especially if you don't know how to bake like me. And this is a little bit faster, and if you don't want to use the frosting to hold it together, you can just use the glue gun to glue it.
That's right.
So what do you think, Mrs. Claus? How did I do?
I think that's wonderful for a first time.
Yours is a lot better. I don't want to cry.
Well, after 20 years. And the best part of it all is when you're done, you can eat it.
Year after year, I'm asked the same question. How do I decorate a Christmas tree? When do I put the lights on a real tree? And how do I shape an artificial branch? So I'm here today to show you some easy steps on how to decorate an artificial tree, and I'll even give you some suggestions on how to decorate your real tree. The first we're going to start with is the artificial tree. I have a branch here that I pulled out of the box, and normally they're going to come like this, all pushed together. So the first thing that I tell people to do is take the branch away from you like this and start pulling out the sides like this, and then start taking out the middle. You keep on doing this all the way down like I've done it here. And remember, after you have all of the branches pulled out, by taking out the middle and turning out the sides, you want to remember to take the branch and bend it a little like this, upward, like I've done here. Kind of turn it like they would be growing towards the sun. This way it will look like the real thing when you put it into the holder. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is how to do a small tabletop tree. And basically it's the same thing again, and you're just going to take it and kind of bend it up like this, like I'm doing here. And just keep on shaping it like this. And I usually tell people to turn the tree around and just keep pulling them down and bending them up a little bit like this. And just keep on turning it. Once you finish shaping the tree, then the next step you'll do is you're going to get your Christmas lights. The first thing you'll do is you'll take the top that has the end like this, and you'll tie it on the very top of the tree. So then you're going to take each light and you're going to kind of turn it, twist it around each branch like I've done here. You do it again, you just twist it around. And keep turning it, keep turning your tree so that you can have everything even, and just take your light again and twist it around. Now, because I want my tree to actually look a little bit more like an outdoor tree with the wind blowing through it where the lights look like they're sparkling, we have a light that we sell here in the store, and these are called twinkle lights. And they're not like the old-fashioned lights that blink on and off, but these actually do a random twinkle. Each one has a fuse in it, and they actually kind of barely blink. You'll see them once in a while just kind of coming on and off. You want to step back from the tree and squint at it. When you squint looking at the tree, your eyes will focus on any dark spot that's in the tree. Once you finish putting the lights on the tree, the next step is to decorate. And what I like to use is ribbon to help fill in some of the dark areas of the tree. You can start at the top, like I'm doing here, and this is pre-wired ribbon, so it's really easy to work with. And you'll take it and you'll actually put this around through the tree like this. And keep on going around like I'm doing here. And it doesn't have to be perfect. What you're doing is you're really just starting to accent your branches with gold. We're going to cover it with a lot of the ornaments and things. Once your ribbon meets, you want to take the two pieces and overlap them like I'm doing here. And take it and put it on top of a branch, and then take your floral wire. Now we've pre-wrapped ours with floral tape, but you don't have to do that. And if you don't have any wire, you can always use a Christmas tree hook and just bend it straight. But just kind of bend this and tie it on like I'm doing here, and that way it will not fall off the tree when you're going to do your decorating. The next step you'll do is get your beads. Now I've taken a bead here that has some gold and white and iridescent in it because I thought it would really look pretty and it will sparkle with the light. You'll take your beads, and again you'll get your piece of floral wire, And I usually tie the end of it like this, just kind of wrap it around. And again, like I said, you can also use a Christmas tree hook if you do not have the floral wire. Now you're going to want to take this, and I usually just take this and I twist it around the top of the tree like I've done here. You're going to just kind of go in between your ribbon and just kind of go all the way around the tree like this. So again, if you don't have floral wire at home, you can just take a regular Christmas tree hook and just bend the ends out like this here. So it's pretty straight. And then just take the end of your beads and just twist it around like this to hold it in place. And that will keep this from falling off the tree. And then just take it and wrap it around your branch like that. Now this bead, the beading here, I really love this because it is already pre-wired and you can do the loops. You know, years ago it didn't have the wire like this, so you'd had to sit and do this thing all the way around. You can actually just take this and bend it around like this. It's really great. And I like to take little loops, and so you'll bend it up at the top here. And if you want to, sometimes since it's an artificial tree, you can't do this with a real tree, but you can actually bend the branch in like that, and you can't tell, to hold it in place. And then just take this and bend it down again and make another loop. And see how now we're overlapping, but we're filling in, we're doing all the stages. After you finish placing the beads on your tree, then the next step you'll do is get your boxed balls. What I want to tell you first is that we sell these for $7 for a box of 6. You want to get some generic just for the color. So you're going to take these, and I've already pre-hooked these in. Make sure that when you put the hook on the ball that you pinch the very end of it so it will not fall off. And do the same thing on your tree. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just hang these, and I kind of push them in as far back as I can go and pinch the top hook also on the branch so it won't fall off, and kind of let that fall into place like this. And one thing I did want to suggest to you, a lot of people ask this question all the time, how many lights should I put on a tree? Well, we have a chart here that you can come into our store and actually pick up, and it tells you, for instance, a 2-foot tree you would put 100 to 150 lights on. For a 7-foot tree, you'll probably put about 650 lights on it. One other thing I want to tell you, since we're not going to be decorating a live tree, when buying a live tree, you want to make sure that you ask the tree man to give you a tree that is wrapped up, that he has maybe in his tent. Because I know from experience that they usually water those down a lot more and keep them moist, the branches moist. You want to also ask the tree man to please cut the bottom before you purchase it. Make sure he cuts it, and then right away, even if you're not going to take it home and put it in your home, fill up a bucket of water and put it in a bucket of water, at least for a few days until the branches drop. You don't want to bring the tree home right away and then start decorating it, because how you have it decorated, the tree is definitely going to fall. So you want to wait at least 3 to 4 days for it to drop completely, and then you can go ahead and decorate it. Once you've used the plain balls, then you can go to some of the specialty things. Because these are a little more expensive, I usually suggest, use these first to fill in, and then you'll take your specialty balls like this that have the prettier decorated patterns on them and use those as your fill-in. And then you can go ahead and use other specialty things, like I have this really pretty thing here, and you can go ahead and loop that onto in between the balls, and it's going to give you a different texture altogether. But see, it's also filling in, it's hiding your light cords, and it's also giving you a really pretty look. After you finish putting all of the decorations on the tree, the tassels and all of your ornaments, then the last thing you're going to do is put bows on the tree. Now, you don't have to use bows, but I prefer putting the bows on because I think it makes it look a really nice finished look. So I will show you in just a second how to make a bow. But you want to take the bows that I've already done here like this and kind of bend it around, just twist it, and these are wired, and just kind of bend it like this. And just take the tails, and you can put them down like that. Like that. Now, you can use a bow at the top of the tree, like this if you'd like, or I've selected a top like this, which these are from Germany, they're hand blown, to match our really pretty special ornaments. See, the colors kind of match, so it kind of ties in this brighter color gold. And you can just take this and slide it up like this, down the middle. Because this looks bare and plain there, I will put the bow here to finish that off. Now see, doesn't that make that look nice? Now I'm going to show you how to do a bow. A lot of people ask this question, how do I make a bow? Can you show me how to do it? So I'm going to do the best I can to show you. You start with a tail about so long. You take and you pinch this like I'm doing here. Pinch it as tight as you can. Then you take this and you twist it around and make a loop. Now make sure you keep gathering it all together in the center like this, and take this party ribbon and turn it down so the shiny sequin side is to the front. Now, because I've done this so long, I don't have to really measure this, but you can get a yardstick out and you can measure your loops. Now see, you just want to take it like that, and again, you're gathering everything here in your loop like this. Now see, this is the bad side. You want to make sure that you twist this. See, if you don't, you're going to have this sequence not showing. So take this and twist it like this. And because I can judge already, again, you can take a yardstick and you can kind of measure to both sides to get that. And then what you do after you still have it gathered, if you're afraid of it letting go, then take your wire. Now again, you're going to have to use a floral wire, and it's better to wrap it with floral tape so that you give you a better grip to do it. Just take this and turn it around like that. And then you can just take this and just hold this up together like that, and squeeze it as tight as you can and twist your wire around so that you don't have a loop. So nothing's going to come out. See how tight I've done that? And then you take this and make sure you twist it around so that your glitter part is showing. And then you take your pair of scissors and you just go ahead and cut this. The nice thing about this pre-wired ribbon, you can bend it, you can do anything you want with it like that. So then just take this and do this with it. Here's another example of a tree that I spent a little more time on. So I hope this will give you some creative ways on how to use your imagination. If you feel a little overwhelmed and you don't think you can handle this, you can always contact our store and we can create a beautiful tree for you. It's not as hard as it looks. It's actually very easy. Being a collector can be a fun and rewarding hobby. I happen to like Christmas. It's one of my most favorite holidays to collect for. And in my hands here, I have some things that I wanted to share with you. These are actually plastic light reflectors, and by putting these on top of a light bulb, the little tiny wheels will spin from the heat from the light bulb. This one in my left hand is something old, and it's from the 1950s. This one in my right hand is something new, and it's from the present day. It's amazing how they can copy the exact and make them look just like the old. So I'd like to share with you some of the other items in my collection, and I want to show you also how you can display them. I've done a nice table setting here in a display, and I've used some of the old Santa Clauses and the old trees. Some of these trees are from 1950. These are from Japan. This one here is from the 1920s, and it's marked from Germany. So I thought this would make a nice little scene for everyone who's sitting at the tables here, and their place settings can have something nice to look at. I also have some things back here I'd like to share with you. These here are not old. These are present day, but they're made to look old. This here is an old Santa. I have an old Coke Santa here that I actually found in the garbage. Somebody threw this away, and I taped all the parts together because I just thought it was a neat part of history. When collecting something old, you're also collecting someone's memory. Each piece has a story to tell. We only hold on to these things for a short while until they're passed on to somebody else, and then it becomes your memory. So remember, when collecting, don't collect for how much it's worth, but collect it for the meaning. I hope you have fun in collecting. Here's some great ideas we have to show you how to decorate a table. One of the things we have done here is we have these little place card holders that we sell in our store, and I just took an actual little card and I put the person's name, and you can really do it in any type of logo that you'd like. I took a napkin like you see here, and I just pleated it back and forth to kind of make it look like a bow, and then I used one of these old, probably something that came off of a package from the 1900s, 1920s, and you can just place that right in the center to make it look like a bow. I also have a great party favor here, and we sell these in our store, and it's actually a little box that you can put something in, like a little keepsake, and you just want to place one of these by each table setting so the guests can take it home. Another added feature is if you have a lamp over your table, which most dining room tables will have, I like to kind of draw the tie ceilings into the table to kind of tie in with our center arrangement here. So I've tied some actual ornaments from fishing line. And because I collect, I also have this here, and you can just take this guy and you can tie him up like that. And a good thing to do is to stand back from your table to judge, to make sure everything from the table is going to be seen from a distance. And don't worry if they're not going to turn around. They'll eventually twist around so that you can see them. And I think that will help. And probably the last added feature that you want to do, candlelight. Candlelight actually sets the warmth of the table. It actually gives a glow about the table. So I hope this will help you to come up with some great ideas on how to decorate your table for the holidays. Are you looking for a great holiday gift to give to your family or loved ones? Well, we have a great project that we'd like to show you how we decorate. It's one of our most popular arrangements that we make every year. We actually have nicknamed it the Lola tree for one of our employees that has been doing this since probably 1979. The first thing you're going to do is get your boxwood tree, which we've already put together. And the next thing I like to do is I take the red ribbon. Now we can make these in any color, any choices that you'd like to use. But I'm going to use red because I think the red looks the prettiest with the green. And you're just going to take the ribbon and we kind of put it around like this. And just go up the tree like that. And then you take your scissor and you can cut it off. And then we have floral wire that I like to use. Again, I've wrapped this with the floral tape because it gives it an easier grip, and just take it and kind of bend it around like this here. And you can just stick it right into the top of the tree like that to hold it in place. And then another added thing which is really good to use are the beads. And again, you'll take your wrapped wire. Now because there's a oasis block in here and it's probably about 3 to 4 inches in, if you use a short stick like this, it may not reach. So I try to take a wire that's a little bit longer for the base where I'm going to start this. And you kind of just shove this in like this. And then you just take your beads and go in between your ribbon and just kind of wind it around. Now the beading they make nowadays is not like the old stuff from the 20s and the 30s. This is all separately tied together, so you can go ahead and take scissors and you just cut it right off. The old beads, the way they used to do them, they were glass and they were hollow, and if you cut them off they would fall all over the floor. So again, take your wrapped wire here and cut it off. And then you're just going to attach that to hold it to the top of the tree. Like this here. And you can go ahead and just wind this around. Now this tree, if watered, should last at least 2 to 3 months. We had one that we kept in our cooler as an experiment. I wanted to see how long it would take to do it, how long it would live. And we had it in there from the end of December and it lasts until July, only because I forgot to water it. Now I'm going to add some of these meter balls, and I've added the longer picks to them, and they come like this. They're actually wired like this here with a little wire on them, and then you can just bend it around. And you're just going to kind of put these in between where you have your ribbon. And you just kind of add them around like this. Now this makes a great centerpiece for the table. We have another example behind me here. And this one I put some lights in. This one you wouldn't be able to use in the center of the table because it has a cord, but this would be great for a buffet table or a table against the wall. So once you get all of the balls stuck in, then I have chosen some berries here because I like the red, and that will kind of help pick up a little bit on the ribbon here. And just kind of put these around like that. And then we've made some bows, and I've put them on the sticks, and they'll be fine up at the top because we have oasis. Now at the very bottom I may have to add a little bit of a longer stick to it. Now if you decide you want to make it a little bit more, I guess I want to say fun, you can put little tiny ornaments on like we've done here. And here I did put little hooks because these are not that heavy, and you can wire these on like this and just kind of bend the little hook, and this will make it a little bit, I mean, this will be great for kids, like if you're having a party and you have younger children attending. It's a little bit, you know, cuter to use some of the smaller little things. And these have glitter, so they sparkle with the light. And you can just kind of add these around like that. And we have these trees available at our store in different sizes and different price ranges. So if you're interested in maybe buying something like this to give as a gift, we can send it nationwide, or we can do it as a local delivery. So give us a call at our store. The smell of gingerbread is in the air. The other day I was unpacking some of my Christmas items and I found this old gingerbread man that I had made 20 years ago. So I thought I would try to bring him back to life. So today we're going to actually do this, and I'm going to take you outside and show you how to cut it out of wood. The first thing you're going to need is a piece of pine. This one happens to be 12 inches across. They sell this at the home improvement store. The next thing you'll do is you want to draw a pattern. Now I did this one freehand and I made a pattern, and then you're going to want to cut this out with a pair of scissors and then put it down and then trace it on your board. We've already pre-cut one here to actually give us our first pattern and our example, and then I'll take it down and we'll go ahead and trace it on the wood again. Just take a pencil, just kind of trace it around like I'm doing here, and then you can start to cut it. I suggest using a jigsaw like this, but I also suggest that if you don't wear glasses, then you get some safety glasses to protect your eyes from something flying into them. So just make sure you put those on before you start cutting. And hold on to the wood pretty sturdy with your one hand, and then you can just start cutting. Okay, after it's cut out, you'll have a form like this. You want to make sure you take your sandpaper and sand all the edges so that you don't have nothing rough on it. Even sand the top thoroughly. Then you'll take your stain, and I've already stirred. You have to make sure you stir the stain, so I've already done that. And this is golden oak, and it's done by Bear. And just take a paintbrush, and you kind of just want to rub it on like I'm doing here. And make sure that you go all around the whole thing, and keep your brush going the same way the grain of the wood goes. Then you take your paper towel, or you can actually use a rag. I sort of like to take a paper towel and just do it with that. And then you just take it and you kind of rub this off like this. And make sure you go again with the grain of the wood. You don't want to go against it. And make sure you do this in a ventilated area, or, you know, we're doing it in our back workroom, but you wouldn't want to do this inside your home because it does really smell bad. And so usually you let this dry for maybe 15 to 20 minutes. You sand it down again, and then you put another coat of stain on it. Now that the stain is dried, I thought we'd bring it in to a much cozier setting and actually put this together. What we're going to do is, years ago I used to use a regular paint, but now I'm going to do what they've come out with are these paint pens. And you're going to want to do a little design around the outer edge. And just take the paint pen and press down a little bit and just do a little wiggly design like this. Okay, after you're done with the white, then you'll take the red, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put some holly berries in the center. Now you can do candy canes, you can kind of do any kind of design you want to. And then you'll take your green and you'll make the holly leaves like this. You can just kind of fill these in with your paint pen like this here. And then we're going to do the face. Now, they sell these little eyes in the craft store like this. And you can put them on if you'd like the white background, but I think it makes it look goofy. So what I decided to do is I take a pair of scissors and you just cut off the end like this. And then you can take out the little black insert part. And then you can take your glue gun and just put a little dab of glue on each one and just kind of set that down like that. And then from that, you can actually draw your face on here and just kind of take a pencil and just kind of mark where you want to do it with the paint pen and just kind of go over it like this here. And you can see him already shaping. You can see his little face. He's already a little smiling. He's grinning right back at me. And then to get the cheeks to be rosy, you can take a paint pen. Now, I'm going to try by putting this down like this and taking a Q-tip and just taking a little bit and just kind of rubbing it on in a circular motion like this. And then if you want, you can just take your finger and you can do like this with it. And then you can take your white to give the eyes and put a little dot in the center like this here, and one on this side here, and then you can just do a little bit right here. I think this should be dry enough now that we can actually take our Sharpie pen and we can outline this to give it a little bit more detail. So just go along the edge to give it a little bit more detail. And then what I decided to make it look a little bit more three-dimensional, this one here we just did it where we painted it on and it's flat, but you can also take berries, get your glue gun again, and then just glue these on. Put a little dab on the end and just put it in the center of what you've already marked with your marker. And then you can take your red pen and just do some dots along the outer edge now, like this, all the way around. Like that. And then the last finishing touches you're going to do, I've already pre-tied a bow, but they sell this in the florist. Actually, we have it at our store. You can get it at a local craft store. Just put a little dab in the back again like that. And then you put a little bit of the, and you just glue it right here, right underneath his smile. And there you have another gingerbread man that's come back to life after 20 years. To make this more personal, you can add the name, like we've done here. You also can add a hook to the back so you can display it on the wall. I chose to display all of mine on the fireplace to represent each member of my family. By looking at these, it brings back memories of a dear friend that helped me make these years ago. So I hope this will start a family tradition for you and maybe bringing back some memories that you've once had. Here, and one on this side here, and then you can just do a little bit right here. I think this should be dry enough now that we can actually take our Sharpie pen and we can outline this to give it a little bit more detail. So just go along the edge to give it a little bit more detail. And then what I decided to make it look a little bit more three-dimensional, this one here we just did it where we painted it on and it's flat, but you can also take berries, get your glue gun again, and then just glue these on, put a little dab on the end, and just put it in the center of what you've already marked with your marker. And then you can take your red pen and just do some dots along the outer edge now, like this, all the way around, like that. And then the last finishing touches you're going to do, I've already pre-tied a bow, but they sell this in the florist. Actually, we have it at our store. You can get it at a local craft store. Just put a little dab in the back again like that. And then you put a little bit of the, and you just glue it right here, right underneath his smile. And there you have another gingerbread man that's come back to life after 20 years. To make this more personal, you can add the name, like we've done here. You also can add a hook to the back so you can display it on the wall. I chose to display all of mine on the fireplace to represent each member of my family. By looking at these, it brings back memories of a dear friend that helped me make these years ago. So I hope this will start a family tradition for you and maybe bringing back some memories that you've once had.